Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you a quick update, just a progress on the 1958 Chevy Impala. In the previous video, we shared with you where we had quite a bit of work smoothing and body block sanding going on in the quarter panels and the doors, and we were checking the alignment and fit of the doors. A lot more progress has gone on since the last video. With the roof section, we finished sanding this really nice 1 year only scoop at the back. We had quite a bit of old lacquer paint and other products that we had to strip to bare metal, because when we sandblasted all of the strong sections, and then all of this was done with air sanding equipment because we didn't want to have any warpage in the roof line. So now all of the sections that were bare metal, you can see, are now black. So this is the two-part black epoxy. So we've got 3 coats of black epoxy to completely treat the roof. We had done the outside of the roof before, after we cleaned out the rails. So now that we have the epoxy cured on this roof section, it's ready to apply the gray high build primer, and then we'll continue on the bodywork. You can see in the previous video where they had the lead joint from the factory between the pillar post and the roof line. We've got this coming along really nicely, the correct factory seam line that comes across here. And then there was a substantial amount of repairs that were done along the back window. In the previous video we had the metal all repaired, but all of our welds weren't ground smooth. So since that previous video, pardon me, we ground all of that smooth, and then we had to shape it, and it's a very tricky, I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but it's a tricky body line. There's a molding that goes in here, and then this line is slightly defined, but then the angle changes, it starts to taper. So as it comes from here and goes around, it slopes. So it's really tricky with the body smoothing and block sanding to get this correct. And then you'll notice the center of the rail, there was still a little bit of goop from the back window and pardon me, and old lacquer paint. So we stripped all of that off, and we've got that now protected, the bare metal with the two-part epoxy also. When we come along to the back, we did quite a bit of work on the trunk lid separately, and then we just place it on because it's going to need quite a bit of work. So with the trunk lid, it was bare metal on both sides. Once again, we've treated it with the two-part epoxy and then with the gray high build primer. So now that we've dry fitted the trunk on, we share with you, in mass production, they never really fit very well, but you can see here's a perfect example, and this is the detail stuff that's really important to do. So as we look around the trunk lid, instead of bouncing all over, if we just start to look on this driver's side, you can see it's decent gap as it comes down, and then as the slope comes along, it's decent, but then the trunk lid sticks out further than the body here. So it's not really lining up well. So what's happening is this is kind of bent out a little bit or tapered out. It's more dramatic on this side. So now we're on the passenger side. You can see the gap is decent, but it's wobbly. At the top it's tight, it's wider in the middle, and then it's fairly snug here. So if we put the trunk in the correct position that the factory had it in, you can see it's not fitting right. It's sticking out, and I can almost fit my pen all the way along, and at the back I can literally fit it right through. So we're going to need to do quite a bit of work on the actual, between the quarter panel seam and the trunk lid itself. We're going to do some massaging and get things to fit better, because this is a really important step in the detail part of the restoration, because we have to make sure all of our gaps and all of our panels fit correctly. We're still going to paint all the panels separately, but we have to make sure that we deal with the fit and finish. We want to make sure that the fit is correct. So we'll be doing quite a bit of work on this trunk and this back section in the upcoming days. So just a quick update. This is the 1958 Chevy Impala. I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.